very important subject, the subject of innovation. Often people ask, what is innovation? Can everybody innovate? The answer is certainly yes. So at the end of this session, you will be convinced that there are enough opportunities for each one of us to innovate in many ways. So let me start with three student incidents. The three students who actually went through innovation process. First, I will start with Shalini Kumar. Shalini Kumar was a school student, and she was one of the students who was very innovative. And in each of these cases, what I'll do is I'll give you what is the innovation they came up and how did they do it. So Shalini Kumar found that there are many elderly people who use walker when they get aged, which is very common, which you and I have also seen many times. But one of the problems which she saw, elderly using, particularly with a walker, is that they are able to use the walker on the plain terrain or a plain surface. But whenever there are stakes, there was a problem, how do you use a walker? So she found this particular problem when some of her relatives were using the walker and thought, why not have a walker which probably can also be used when you are using stakes or let's say steps. So she came up with a very interesting solution, which is an adjustable walker. In adjustable walker, you can adjust the heights of the legs so that you can also use it to climb stairs, etc. And then she came up with a prototype and demonstrated that it actually works. So this is one good example of, you can say, an innovation which came from a school student. I go to the next one. The next student is Diva Sharma. So Diva Sharma came up with an innovation in the area of healthcare. All of you may have probably seen people using these wearables. These wearables are used for monitoring the healthcare parameters. For example, if I buy one and actually use it on my wrist, then it can monitor your temperature, it can monitor your blood pressure and many of the vital health parameters. And these are now becoming very common and more people are actually using it. So what Deva did is, she found that there are enough such solutions are available for human beings, but there is nothing, there is no such solution which is available for animals. So she came up with a wearable which can be put on animals as a locket, and then you can also monitor many of the health parameters. Because often animals go into distress and they can't express like human beings. So you actually need a device to measure the distress in animals and their health. And she came up with once a solution as a school student when she was in class 10 and actually built and demonstrated the solution for this particular problem. I go to a third student whose name is Madhav Lavate. Madhav was again a student in 10th class. He saw that one of the days, one of his classmates actually left the school, and he wanted to know why did the student actually leave the school. And he came to know that student left because student was hard of hearing and deaf and was not able to actually follow the lessons which teachers generally tell in a class, etc. So he found it very difficult to accommodate himself in a classroom because classroom was not accessible, and he decided to leave the school. This particular point actually struck Madhav. Madhav wanted to work on some solution. So after his 10th class exams, during his summer, he started working on a solution. And after a couple of years, he came up with this new glasses, which are wearable. The glass also have an add-on ozone layer. It's a smartphones and computers. The first thing is we are always existing device, which is also an innovation. Innovation is not always inventing new devices. Even if you have an existing solution which is not working, making modifications to existing solutions to make it work is also a very important component of an innovation process. What Diva did is she found that there are solutions which are available for humans, but there are no such solutions available for animals. So she worked on extending the solution which is available for humans to animals. But it is not a very simple work because it has to be done in a very systematic manner. Same solutions cannot be put to animals and made to work because they have to be redesigned. They have to be re-innovated in order to make it work. So this is another example of an innovation where you take an existing solution and make it work in another situation through a process of innovation. And what Madhav did is he used the existing technology but it in a new format. When Madhav came up with these classes which convert spoken words into basically text, there were already such solutions were available in a mobile. For example, all of us who have a smartphone also have an opportunity to convert a spoken words into text. And this transcribe feature is available in all the smartphones. But the problem with smartphones is that when you are actually using it as a smartphone, let's say in a classroom setting, you are actually not looking at the teacher. And when you are looking at a teacher, you are not looking at a smartphone. But both are needed for somebody to understand what teacher is trying to say in a classroom. So body language of the teacher is more important sometimes than the spoken words. So the goggle or the spectacle which Madhav gave up, which is transcribed glass, does both. You can also see the body language of the teacher, but at the same time in the same classes, you can also see that the words spoken by the teacher are also can be read on the glass of the spectacles. So, in other words, more often people think that innovation is something where you have to come up with extremely new technology and the invention is actually innovation is solving a problem, even making a problem which is even the existing solution to make it work in a new solution or a new situation is also an innovation process. Another important thing which one must remember in the process of innovation, which also happened with all the three students, is that when they came up with their solution, it did not work in the first attempt. They have to come up with a solution, take it to people or the beneficiaries and try it, and then they see that it's not working the way it is expected, come back and redo, and they have to fail a few times, and finally they succeeded. So often in our school education, failure is taken as a negative thing, but in an innovation process, failure is considered as an asset. The more you fail, the more knowledgeable you are and more ready to come up with a solution which is likely to work. So don't take failures in the innovation process in a very negative way, and it is something which is a welcome step in most of the innovation processes. So in other words, as we said, the failing is a prerequisite. Prerequisite means it's a kind of a mandatory which everybody goes through. All the gadgets and all the products and solutions which we use in our day-to-day life, they don't come in one attempt of solution finding. They also went through a number of failures before they became a successful product. So that is something which has